Hi YouTube family, welcome back to my channel. This is Vineet Pandey and we're going to talk about how to attempt questions in your exam paper. The very first thing that I'm going to tell you before we talk about the actual conversation that UGC NET certificates have been released by NTA. You can go to the website, you can apply your application number, your mobile number, you'll get the OTP and you can download your certificate. Why they delayed these certificates, I think primarily it's because of the EWS category. So this was the reason they had to do some extra work to find out the final results, cross-checking all other documents of the people those who submitted, and they actually whether they were the part of EWS category or not. Now we talk about the most important thing. The first thing is what to do in the last 5 to 6 days and how to attempt questions in exam. First thing, you have completed everything, you must have read everything, and what I suggest you is that if you have not completed syllabus, if you have left topics, I suggest you then that the topics which are left should be left. Leave those topics, focus on whatever you have studied and covered till now. Make them very strong, revise them so that you can be very much sure about at least 60 to 70% answers in paper. Second thing, those who are already prepared and are revising, this is the time you can solve past papers, previous year's papers. Now I must tell you English students, if you solve the previous year's papers, sometimes you find trouble. Why? Because when you prepare the questions, you go for the easy language. When we teach you, we go for easy language. But when the same question is asked by UGC in exam paper, they go for the tricky language, the language which itself is contradicting. It has different parts of the question. Sometimes the question is given in a proper structure, asking you or forcing you to think about the right answer. So what you have to do is practice the papers now. Second thing, when you attempt the question in exam, read the question carefully. This is one of the problems of the students. They do not read questions carefully. Even I have done these mistakes. I sometimes in overconfidence did not read the question completely, read the question first line and thought it's easy. I just went for the option and I went for the wrong answer because I thought it's easy. I didn't even read the complete question. Read it carefully. Sometimes they use double negatives in a question which technically becomes the assertive or affirmative question. Means अगर double negative use है, so question आपका negative नहीं रहता है. So that's what you have to remember, right? Second thing, once you have read the question and suppose you are clueless about the answer, you have no idea about the answer, then focus on the structure of question. Try to relate the question's area, or we can simply say the field of the question. Means think about the genre of the question, from which age, from which writer, from which book, which type of conversation is that, which type of question is that. Try to relate it and then go for the options. And here you have to do something very exclusive thing. Play elimination round. What is elimination round? Suppose you are clueless about the answer, you don't know the answer. What you have to do is read the question once again, find out the structure of the question. Now relate the answers with the question and go for the wrongest answer. Repeating once again, go for the wrongest answer, सबसे गलत answer, and delete it, means forget it. Now you are left with 3 options. Go for the second wrongest answer. Suppose you found another wrongest answer. You are very sure that this cannot be the answer. You have deleted this one also. Now you are left with the 2-1. You may go for the third wrongest answer, or you can choose at least any of them, and here the probability will be of 50%. Earlier it was 25%, 25%, 25%. So go for the wrongest answers. You'll be able to find out the same right answer, which generally we say the smart guess or the smart tukka. One more thing, in literature questions always have contradictory statements. Focus on all those contradictory statements. Even if you have found a right answer, think why your answer is right, how can you prove it, and think about the both of the arguments. Do not become biased just because one answer is close to your mind, you immediately could recall it. If the question is actually analytical, you must think that there are two different sides of every answer, the positive one and the negative one. So think about both of these sides and you'll be able to find out a better answer. One more thing, in questions you'll find out that all the options are right. Sometimes they give you the question where all the answers are right. Here what you have to do is, out of these 4 answers, one answer will consist everything which is already mentioned in 3 different options. Means, suppose if they ask you what is food, I'm giving you the very easy example. What is food? Option A, rice and dal. You're like, okay, right answer. Option B, vegetable and chapati. Right answer. Option C, a platter with rice, dal, curd, pickle, everything. And option D is again some Maggi chow mein. So technically you know that option C has all other options consisted in it. So that's how you have to go for the finest answer, the perfect answer. And apart from all these things, one more thing that you have to remember. There are certain questions where assertion and reasoning questions are given. Remember these things in most of the questions. It is the reason that is important. Focus on the reason part, which is more important. If you find that the reason is given the reasonable answer, go for the right option where the reason represents it rightly. Now, how to match the followings? First of all, go for the strongest option which is very much sure to you. Sometimes if you are very much sure to your answer, it becomes easy. If not, then remember they have a simple structure. A is mostly associated to C and B is mostly associated to 1A. Now remember this thing, that's my experience. It's not a fact. It's not a scientifically proven fact. It's just my experience that in most of the cases, I found these type of match the followings and they were mostly correct. In fact, I'll tell you, if sometimes I'm completely clueless in some questions, I go for option C. And remember this thing, it's no trick, no science. It's just that when I was preparing for my exams, I would check the answer key of UGC net and I found that maximum questions like 35, 36 were option C. So I'm again telling you, do not take it as a totka, as a tukka, as a kind of short trick. Read it, go to analyze the question, divide your time, dedicate your time to a question. Do not waste more than 2 minutes. If it's a tough question, 2 minutes are enough. Leave the question, go for other easy questions. When you start solving your paper, go for the first one. If you don't know, go for the second one. If you don't know, go for the third one. Do not stop and think the opening questions. In the opening questions, if you started wasting time, your mind will become pressurized and rest of your questions will be handled by the same mind which is already under pressure. So in case if you're not having a right start, change the page. In online, you can go for page number 2, you can directly go to question number 10, question number 50, last question. In short, you can have a better start. So these are some last minute tricks by Vineet Pandey. I'm leaving for Leh Ladakh. I'm going to attend my net in Leh Ladakh. I just want to see whether my brain works in -20 or not. So see you soon. Enjoying the winters. Wish you all a very happening exam. Fulfill your dreams. And yes, stay safe. It's winters. God bless you all. Take care.